Hello guys, welcome back. In this video I'm going to discuss about special methods, or we can say it is the magic method, or also we call Dunder methods. So what is magic methods, or what are the magic methods provided by Python? So how do you pronounce or say a method name is like double underscore init double underscore? Sound horrible and is nearly a tongue twister. Double underscore init double underscore is a lot better, we can say. So if we will pronounce it underscore underscore init underscore underscore, so it is a horrible. And if we will pronounce it double underscore init double underscore, so it is okay, it's a lot better. But the ideal way is dunder init dunder. Dunder means D-U-N-D-E-R, dunder. So that's why magic methods are sometimes called dunder methods, because it is having in both sides double underscore. So this type of methods called dunder methods. So let's play with dunder methods. So let's understand with an example. So example is I have one class that is person, and that class is having a dunder method is init dunder method, and which is having a three attributes: name, age, and address. And all the threes we need to attach with self, because for instance attribute, so instance attributes are name self dot age equals age, and same way self dot address equals address. Okay, now first of all we will talk about str dunder method. So how it will work? So one object, this is p1 equals person, and here I will pass the values. It needs three values. So first is genuine, and age we can say like 50, and address is Delhi. So Delhi is the capital of India. Now if I want to print p1, so you can see the output will be different. So output is from main person instance at this location. So what exactly is going on in background? So one str dunder method is there, and that method is called at the time of when we are calling the object. So first of all, p1 like object will instantiate at the init method. So always init method will call in background. If you will not write here, then also it will call. So in the same way, whenever you will print, or whenever you want to try print the object, that time also it will call the string dunder method. So method is dunder str. And if we will implement it, so we are overriding this method from object class, we can say. So here it will return something like this is a placeholder, and it will return three things. How we can make it simple, like this for age is this is also a placeholder, years old. Okay, and dot format. So using this method you can pass two values, because here you type two placeholders, one is this, one is the other one. So self dot name is the first placeholder, and the second placeholder is self dot age. Now if you want to print it, you can see the output will be Jaron is 15 years old. Why this is coming? Because in background always this str dunder method will call. If we are not implementing a string method, so one dunder method is also having this capability that is called REPR, that is represent Dunder. That's why I put it 2 double underscore here, and we can return something like return person, and here we will put some placeholders because 3 values. So for 3 values I put it 3 placeholders and separated by comma, and dot format, and you can print like self dot name, and here we need to pass 3 arguments because we put it 3 placeholders. So self dot age and self dot address. So now see, the output will be person gerund 50 Delhi. So this Dunder method called. So whenever we will not override it, and if we override this function, then it will return like that. So in background, this method also called. And what is the difference between this method and string Dunder method? We will see later, and I will explain each and everything in upcoming videos. So let's see if I will inherit and implement both methods, and I have 2 persons. P2 is this person 2, and the values will be Zeno, and who is 30 years old, and he is from BLR. So BLR is the short form of Bangalore. So now I will ask for P2 also. So I will print P2. Oops. So you can see the output is Zeno is 30 years old. So priority goes to the string Dunder method. So we will see how it will work. So in this way we can override the Dunder methods. So how we can access like REPR and STR Dunder method? So there are various ways to access it. So one is like print p1 dot REPR. I want to this Dunder method for this object like p1 object, and print p2 dot string Dunder method, and I will comment it. You can see the output is p1 dot this Dunder method calls, then it will returns this statement, and string method will return this statement. Other ways also, like you can pass directly. I will copy this thing and we paste here, and I will comment it. So how we can work with this Dunder method? So we can call directly, and instead of Dunder representation you need to call directly using name. Okay, and here you need to pass the object is p1, and in same manner for p2 also you can ask directly p2. So this is also a Dunder method, but at the calling time we are not calling the exact one, but in background it is the same. So in this way also we can access the Dunder methods. So let's move more deep for Dunder methods. So I will write a statement, a very simple statement, and you will know the output of that statement. Let's say I want to print 30 plus 78. So what will be the output? So output is 108. So what exactly is going on in background is it will call a Dunder method that is called add. So what are the Dunder methods provided by Python is, so for all operators respective Dunder methods available. If you are using object-oriented programming language, so you have to implement it, or it is depend on you, it's optional. So for plus operator, this is the Dunder method add. So if I will use instead of this like print int and dot Dunder method, you can see all the Dunder methods is provided for int. So int is a kind of data, and here you need to add it, and you need to pass the values like 30 separated by comma 78. So you can see the output will be the same 108. So in this way we can call the Dunder methods. So this is add Dunder method, and if you want to use suppose for float point, so print float dot, all the Dunder methods will be accessible now. So I want to use sub is for subtraction, and here I need to pass the values 45 12. So the output will be, oops, descriptor sub requires a float object but receives an int. So here I pass the integer value, so I need to pass here floating point. Now it will work. So the output is 32.8. So in this way we can call the Dunder methods. Suppose I want to add P1 and P2. Here you can see use P1 and P2 here, and I want to add the age of both person and wants the results. Then how can I use the Dunder methods? So here I comment it. Okay, I want to print, let's say it should add both persons' age, like 50 plus 30 equals 80. So output should be like that. So if you will run the program, you can see the error is type error, unsupported operand. But you can implement it, or you can override it. How? You need to define a Dunder method that is called add, and it will add both. So you need to pass here one self and other is the other object, and you need to return it like return self dot age plus self dot other. And now if you will run this program, you can see the output is, oh, person instance has no attribute other. Okay, I use here self dot other, but it is not a syntax. Syntax is the dot age. So it will access the first object age attribute, then the other object of age attribute, like P1 age is 50 and P2 age is 30, then it will add it. So output is 80. In this way you can inherit all the Dunder methods. So for a string also we can work. Let's say for a string I want to print a Dunder method str dot add if I want to use. So A and B. So what will be the output? Output will be AB. So we can use for any kind of data or any kind of object. So we are passing here a string type of object. So the next point is we are using a len function, and in previous videos also I used a len function in lots of time in dictionary, list, tuple also to get the length of a string, tuple or dictionary. So let's say I will use here a len function. So len, we need to pass something. Let's say the string is India. So it will return the length of the string. So the output is 5. So we can override it len function also. So it is also a Dunder method, or in background Dunder method will call. So what is that Dunder method? So print India, this is a string dot Dunder method is, you can see here for a string a lots of Dunder methods provided. Attribute, get item, get slash, get has, int, or lots of Dunder methods are available. So I need length. So it will returns the length of string is 5. If I want to print the length of the name of person, so I can use in my class also. So how you can use this Dunder method? It's very easy, like len self, and it will returns length of self.name. And now if I want to print the length of person one name, it's very easy. So p1 dot len. So now you can see the output is 5. So genuine length is 1 2 3 4 5 alphabets. So in this way we can use the magic methods or Dunder methods. The last topic of the object-oriented programming language is, please avoid to use dynamic variables. What is dynamic variables and why we are using dynamic variables? The other question is, what is the difference between REPR Dunder method and STR Dunder method? It is a very common questions asked in interview. So first of all, we will move to the point, don't use or please avoid to use dynamic objects or dynamic attributes. Let's say how. What is dynamic attribute and how we are creating? We created in previous videos, but we will remind it. So let's say I have a class test, and that class is having one init method and let's say one number also it is having, or we can say it is also not having anything. What is dynamic attribute? I'm going to tell you exactly. So just write a class, okay, which is not implementing anything. So let's see, t1 is the object of test class, and if we are writing like t1 dot x equals 80, and if you want to print t1 dot x, then the output will be, we will use instead of 80 is 88, so you don't confuse with this output. So you can see the output is 88. So this is called dynamic creation or dynamic attribute creation. So we are creating a dynamic attribute x at the runtime. So how we can avoid it to use dynamic creation of attributes? So it can be used for hacking purpose also. If your application is loosely coupled and you are using dynamic attributes creation, then it is easy to hackable. So how you can create your application is more valuable. For that, what you have to do is, we have one special variable that is called slots. So this is also a Dunder, and here you need to define the list. What are the values or what are the attributes you want to create? Let's say I will define here x, and in init Dunder method you have to use some variable like num, and just what you have to do is, it's very simple, self.x. So x means we are assigning this value, like whatever will supply on the runtime, it will assign to the x, so num. Now if you will run this program, then the output will be the same, but some error we are getting here. Okay, so here we need to pass some value. I pass some 60. Okay, so you can see the output is 88. So here I passed in slots special attribute and it got executed. So now let's say if I will assign t1 dot y equals 90 and I want to print it, will it work? Just run it. You can see the output, attribute error, test object has no attribute file. So this is a memory shaving, or we can say it is an attribute which will restrict your data, or which will restrict to create the dynamic attributes. So here if you will pass comma y, so then it will work. So here there's a list, or we can say tuples of the attributes whatever you want to create. You can see the output, now it's working. So this is the work of slots spatial attribute. So now in next video we will discuss about modules and imports and packages. Thanks for watching.